Hello, beautiful dear soul ones. So in this series of videos, we will be talking about the dark night of the soul. This is part 1. What is the dark night of the soul? And in the next parts, we'll be going through surviving the dark night of the soul, how to survive it, how to help someone else survive it, aftercare of the dark night of the soul, and I'll speak about my experience, my personal experience of my dark night of the soul. All right? So, numero uno, what is the dark night of the soul? So this can be different for every one of us. It's really dependent on who you are, your karma, what you're supposed to learn, and how you're doing during the dark night of the soul. Are you resisting it or are you working with it? And there are different choices, which I'll mention in the next videos, that you can consciously make to facilitate it and hopefully make it an easier and or quicker ride. The dark night of the soul is initiation. For some of us, it could be the hardest thing you have ever gone through. For some of us, it may feel like you have totally and utterly lost your entire mind and you don't think you will ever get back to yourself ever again. For some of you, you will have been flung to different dimensions or see behind the matrix fully and properly for the first time. And for some of you, it'll be a total melting of the ego. So it'll be a combination of all of these things, or one of these things more heightened than the other. For some of you, it'll bring up all of your shadows, all of your pains, all of the things you've been hiding away will all come up to be dealt with. And that is the dark night of the soul. It's a true initiation of the next step. Why is all of this just coming up like a volcano, basically? It's because, first of all, higher sources have decided you're ready. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening. So it's good to remember this wouldn't be happening if I can't handle it. But for some of us, this might be the hardest thing you'll ever go through. I honestly believe this will be like one of the hardest things you'll ever go through in this lifetime, in this place. And for some of you, hopefully it'll be a lot lighter, and especially if maybe we can get more guidance through the dark night of the soul, how to survive, etc. It can be a much easier process. But it is a true initiation. So usually as we are spiritually ascending or going through our ascension process, what may have happened to you was, you got an awakening, or connected to the spiritual world, different dimensions, or just energy or magic or whatever, you connected to the more invisible world, if you will. And the first time you connect to that, you're like a little child in a candy store, right? You're the little child in Wonderland or in Disney World, right? Oh, this is amazing. I didn't know I could do this. Oh, we're just so beautiful and amazing beings. And you have all of these crazy magical experiences. And it's all about rainbows and unicorns and magic and, all of this high vibrational stuff. And it's exciting and it's beautiful. And you just go and you're like this little kid just running with it. And it's an amazing experience. But just like a little kid, he's in Disney World and someone knighted him and now he thinks he's a knight, and for the next 6 months he's telling everyone, I'm Sir Lancelot and I'm a knight and blah blah blah, and it's very cute and it's very funny, but he really believes it. His ego has taken it and believed it, and it's natural and it's beautiful and it's kind of funny, but it's not reality at that moment in time, because he isn't yet, because he hasn't had the experience of a knight. He hasn't had the darkness that makes him a knight. Someone who has honor and courage has gone through, in this lifetime or a different lifetime, moments that he was not honorable and made the wrong choices. So now he knows what the right choices are and stands by it. So this little kid who thinks he's in the night, he hasn't had that experience yet. So when we start off this, ascension journey, spiritual journey, we have that. We're like, oh yeah, and now I'm this night. But we're so far from it because we haven't even seen the darkness yet. So somewhere before the dark night of the soul, you may connect to, there may be lots of signs for you to slow down, and usually we don't take the signs because we're not schooled in this new world yet. And if we ignore too many of the signs, then we could land into something that is the dark night of the soul. And it could be ignoring of signs, but it could also just be that's what was meant to happen. And before that, we could have gone through dark experience as well, and we started to see, oh wow, in this magic world there is also good and evil, black and white. In this other, the spiritual realm is exactly like the corporate realm. There's a bunch of truth and a bunch of lies, and the spiritual realm and all these spiritual communities. And all these spiritual communities. There's also a bunch of lies and truth. And so something will trigger it, or it was just divine timing and right alignment for you specifically, and you could fall into the dark night of the soul, which is nothing more than a great initiation. It's a fast forward. It's like doing hundreds of lifetimes of clearing in a short period of time. That again can be different for everybody, how long that period of time is. It could be, a few weeks, months, year, less, day. So it's an initiation. What happens is you've taken the first steps, you've seen the light, you saw the darkness, and now through this initiation you are basically being wiped clear like an onion. All the layers are coming down. Everything coming down. Ego down. Every truth that you thought that you knew has to come down, and you're a puddle of mud, and you don't know anything, and you don't know what is true and what is real and what isn't real, and who are you and what are you, and is this real or is that real, and is life real, and who are my friends and not my friends, and is this magic world real, is the matrix world real? You don't know anything. You are like a little lost, helpless child, because all of the layers just came down. Everything. And it's part of the initiation. And from that, when we hit that rock bottom, then we can start to pick up all these truths that we think and we thought we knew and reassess them. Do I believe in spirituality? Do I believe in the matrix? Do I believe that this plant in front of me is real and green? And you decide your truth, not anybody else's truth, not what people have told you, not what you've read, not what people forced on you, not what the collective or the most people in your city or town think, but your truth. And you have to pick up yourself and every aspect of yourself and your truth and look at everything and decide if that's really a part of you or not. That's what happens during this dark night of the soul. It anchors you into your truth. It's a really deep, great, and difficult initiation that you chose to go through. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening. You may not remember on this plane, but in other planes, you have chosen this. It's an honor. I went through the dark night of my soul, and I didn't have the easiest youth nor the hardest in the world, but I thought I had the hardest time of my life. And when I went through the dark night of my soul, that is literally the hardest thing I've ever gone through. And I would do it in a heartbeat all over again, because it flung me lifetimes forward of my understanding, spiritual awakening, ascension, my abilities, and so much more. Compassion opened up love, true understanding, connected to the collective, so much. So, a deep initiation. And the quicker we can, as I mentioned, so you go through the dark night of the soul, there is the low point, and then we kind of build out of that, right? That's the initiation process. So the faster that we can allow ourselves to just get to that low point and just surrender to it and let go of it, the easier and quicker it'll be. All right? And we're going to talk about that in the next upcoming videos. So thank you for tuning in, and if you are in the dark night of your soul, I'm sending you much love to it, to your experience, and yeah, I hope these next videos will be helpful. Lots of love. Bye.